I'm Mike Granado, my good buddy Sean Webb. We're with Athletic Motion Golf. Sean, this video, and I'm excited about this one because in a few months I'm going to fit well into this category of golfer.
I'll be there before we know it.
So we're talking about golfers over 50, our senior golfers, right? Let's talk about ways where we can start to add some mobility, add some rotation, not just for the sake of rotation, but rotations that's going to help them in the golf swing, add a little more distance, add a little more pop to their bat.
Quality rotation.
Quality rotations what we're after, not quantity.
So I think part of it is concept problem and part of it just mobility. So in this video, we'll give you a concept,
Right.
maybe a good drill to do, and then maybe a mobility exercise you can do on the range.
Sure.
Nothing fancy, just something I see David Toms doing every time he
Again,
plays golf.
yes.
So it's something you might want to do.
It's a good thing to do what good players do,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So we're looking at quality of rotation. We're going to give you a couple ways to help you do that. It's going to really add to your golf game. Sean, we're real fortunate to give a lot of senior golfers lessons in person. And some of my favorite golfers to work with because they have the best stories, right? They've been around the block a little bit. They always have the best stories. They know everybody, and it's just a joy to work with these guys. A lot of them are retired, and they just really want to play better golf.
Yeah, and they love the game.
They love the game. It's how I got involved in the game, playing with my dad, and they're really instrumental in passing this game along to the younger generation. So how can we help?
So I think a couple things. You know, one of them is the thought process that you need to just turn as much as you can at expense of everything else.
Right.
Right. So yes, I think there's some ways you can improve just by improving your concepts. And one of them is, and Mike talks about this a lot, is golfers are turning almost too much away from the ball. So they move their left shoulder, swing it away from the target too much, and swing the left hip and shoulder away, instead of, which I think is a better thought than that, is taking the right shoulder back around and the right hip back around.
Right.
Because it keeps them a little more centered and less sway, and it's an easier way to crank my right shoulder around and my right hip around to get bigger turn than it is for you to push on that in this direction. I think that you can turn, but it's moving me so far away from the ball, I can't hit the ball from there.
Right, and that's kind of the common theme we hear from these golfers when they come in. It's like, all right, I've been told and I've read and I've heard that a bigger backswing, right, which usually means more rotation, a bigger backswing is going to let me hit the ball farther. Well, I can make a really big backswing and be so far out of position that I have next to no chance of hitting the ball good, much less farther.
Yeah, and I think the devil's always in the details.
Right.
Well, you got to make a big turn. Well, I mean, there's a million ways to do that.
You can make a big turn. You can make such a big turn that you can't undo that. You can't recover from that and hit the ball.
Yeah, and you can make a big turn in the wrong way.
Right.
I'm wound up 90 degrees with my hips and over 90, 100 with my shoulders.
Right.
I can't see the ball from there.
That's exactly right.
I mean, I see it a lot. I see guys making such a big turn. I'm like, how are you looking at the ball?
Right. And
Well, I think I lose sight of it. I was like, well, we got a problem there.
Right, and we'll put these guys on gear. So we'll use this. This will be my right shoulder. This will be my left shoulder, right? So if we were going to spin perfectly rotational, it would spin kind of somewhere around the center of this.
Yeah.
What we see a lot of golfers do, and you can equate this with the right hip and left hip as well, they'll pivot around. They'll take this left shoulder all the way around their right. The right really doesn't move. The left travels so far. Now in the downswing, they get about there and they're hitting it with wildly shut shoulders.
Yeah.
And they're told just get more open at impact. Well, the best players in the world don't recover from this much movement.
Yeah.
The same with the hips. They'll take this left hip, really swing it around and get about right there at impact.
Yeah.
Think of it instead of doing the opposite way. Move the right shoulder more behind you. You're still getting the same amount of open and rotation, but now you've got much less room, much less work to do to get more open at impact. And we see that with the best players in the world. They move this left hip more out, right hip goes deeper, and it makes them easier to get open at impact. This is a lot of work to make, not only make that backswing, but to recover from it. And the older we get, I can certainly feel it, the less mobile, the less We want to move, right? Because it's more painful a lot of times, and just the mobility's not there. So making these massive moves and these massive efforts in the backswing really don't pay off a lot of times in the downswing.
Yeah, so that gives us the idea about what the pitfalls are, what you need to be doing. Let's come back here and show them a couple drills that they can add into their game now to get a more improved rotation on the backswing.
Absolutely. All right, Sean, let's jump right in and start with the lower body first.
Yeah.
All right, so let's add a little more rotation, useful rotation, quality rotation into the backswing. What's the drill for that?
Yeah, I think a good one is put your backside up against the wall.
All right, so we'll use our shaft here as our wall.
Yeah, you can cross your arms here, and you get kind of a 2-for-1 because you're going to get the upper body moving as well. I think a lot of you are turning and sliding down the wall away from the target. Right? So you're making a turn, but at the same time, you're moving too far off the ball. Not only that, when you go this way and drive your hip to the right, it actually restricts how much your pelvis can actually rotate.
Right.
So what I want you to do instead, as a drill, but you can kind of start incorporating it, keep that there again. Try to feel like as you turn, you swipe the right side of your rear end down the wall like you're kind of sliding it toward the target a little more. When you do that, that frees up your pelvis to rotate a little bit more, like Mike was talking a little bit ago. And what you're going to notice when you do that, you can take this right one more behind you. You're going to increase your rotation, especially if you're a little locked up in the hips like a lot of us are. It's going to be instantly easier to rotate your pelvis.
Right, and this is something we see, again, when we use gears and turn on the bones feature, this is something we see the best players in the world do, the young best players in the world do with all the rotation ability in the world. They know these little hacks, these little secrets for adding rotation without all of the effort to do it.
Yeah.
And the older we get, the harder that becomes. So why not take a page from their book and get this right hip moving more behind us rather than trying to cover all that distance like you did and sliding back there to the right.
Now, you can overdo it for sure, and I don't want you to do that.
No.
But a little bit of that is probably going to go a long ways for some of you because it's really going to free up. You know, as you also incorporate lifting this left heel a little bit, like you see a lot of guys do as they age, and it helps free the knees up a little, let them change flex, and you can get some more turn.
Right, we're in pollen season right now, right? I want you to think of this wall is covered with pollen.
Yeah.
That you're taking that right cheek and swiping towards the target a little bit to wipe that pollen off, rather than wiping the pollen off away from the target.
That one tip is going to help you guys a lot.
Absolutely.
Get more rotation on the back.
So that's going to take care of the lower body rotation. Again, I think golfers, we focus a lot of times on what's in front of our eyes, and that's when we turn, that's everything down the left side of our body. We see this, we leave our right side really in the way, and we start getting rounded and turn. We got to get what we don't see out of the way.
Great point.
Yep. All right, now let's talk about the upper body. So as far as really, really good golfers go over the age of 50,
or in general for his whole career.
In general for the career of playing golf, Sean's really fortunate. He gets to work alongside one of the best golfers in the history of the PGA Tour.
Yeah, David Toms.
David Toms.
This golf academy is his.
Yep.
And I've been lucky enough to work here and be around him a lot over the last 5.5 years. And just learning from him has been pretty amazing along the way. And, you know, I try to include some of the things I've learned from him in these videos. And this is one of the things I see him do every day before he hits balls.
Right.
And it's something to work on his rotation. And I think it's a 2-for-1 for golfers, what I'm going to show you, because not only does it train you to make a better pivot and better rotation, it's a good warm-up and movement prep to get you ready to play good golf.
Right.
And basically, he has a little more of a fancy stick he uses for this, but you can use your driver. And everybody's seen this, but I want you to maybe do it a little different way. Just start making pivots with the driver behind your neck, right, or just behind your shoulder blades, and work on thinking about taking this right one behind you and then taking the left one behind you.
Right.
Right. So that will kind of warm up your trunk rotation without you taking the left one over here and then the right one over here, which is what most of you do.
That's right. That's
so
right.
This drill alone, just start warming up, feeling like, okay, the right side's going back, now the left side's going back, and finish your turn on your right toe like this for a right-handed golfer. That's really going to warm up the muscles and also train your body, train a new movement patterns for when you actually put a club in your hand.
Right, and there's a lot of cool tools you can use. You can get a broomstick, broom handle, something wider, something that's going to get your chest opened up, forward, arms back. That's going to really give you a sense of really start to rotate. You can get yourself in front of a mirror and really try to see this right shoulder on this side of your head rather than over here. And if you can't do that at first, Don't push it, be patient and work with it.
Yeah.
But what happens in the golf swing is we get this moving, and as soon as the shoulders start to round forward, your rotation is gonna stop.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna lift and do all kinds of weird things. So you wanna keep this thing nice and wide, chest wide open, and really start to see the shoulder pull back there behind you. And then again, make sure you do it on the through swing.
Yeah. So right shoulder back, left shoulder back with a little weight shift. That's gonna tune up your rotation and get you swinging it better when you put a club in your hand.
And if you're feeling extra froggy
Yes.
and you have a little bit extra time, do both of these drills together. Get yourself on a wall, get your broomstick, and work on the lower body as you're working on the upper body. And
That'd be
you're
great.
really gonna start to tie all this together.
Yeah, that feeling of
So
doing
right here,
that.
I'll be the wall again.
Yeah, so down the wall, little shift,
Yep.
and then around the other side. And if it's too long, you might bump the wall, but
Right.
definitely get the idea.
Put a
for
chair
what,
there, whatever.
yeah, what you need to be doing.
Do these things together. Start with them slow at first. Don't hurt yourself. Don't try to move fast. Again, we're working on range of motion and a little bit of flexibility and a little bit of a better concept to really get that quality rotation. That's what's going to help you out there in the golf course.
Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did enjoy it, go ahead and give it a like. Also, if you have any questions about today's video or you have an idea of a video that you want us to shoot, go ahead and leave it in the comments below. We read every single comment. We also respond to the comments. So again, leave us a comment if you have any questions or there's anything you'd like to see. Now, if you haven't already, click the subscribe button. We have videos coming out every single week and we don't want you to miss one. So by clicking subscribe, that ensures you're notified right away when a new video comes out. And hey, if you want to add instant distance to your drive, and we all do, everybody wants more distance, go ahead and click the link in the pinned comment below. You're going to see a link. Click on it. It's going to take you to a page. You're going to enter your name and email address. We're going to send you an email where you're going to get access to Instant Distance, which is a video training that we put out. We know it's going to help you. We know we're going to see you farther down the fairway.